Welcome, Comadres. Thank you for joining us tonight for our tax talk, the basics, with Mary Jane Garza. We're really appreciative that she is here with us and she's going to share her expertise with us. Before we get started, I just want to read our disclaimer. This is an informational session, information only. We don't claim to be experts. We don't claim to know everything. Okay, this is just for informational purposes. Anyone needing, special attention, professional attention, license attention, any attention, we recommend that you contact the IRS directly or an accountant. There are plenty of tax accountants everywhere. Or you could go to an agency like H&R Block. Okay. But Mary Jane Garza she's been a comadre for 20 plus years and she's worked for the IRS for 15 plus years. So she knows a little bit about it, about taxes. So we're very happy to have her here. So Mary Jane, take it away.
Hi everyone. I'm glad to be here and help you answer some questions and help you ease the path to filing your taxes. There's a few things that I had talked to Marie and Nora about earlier about a few little topics that were, I think, I should touch on before we go over any further, especially if you are about to collect Social Security or are collecting Social Security. There's a few little misconceptions about it that I need to clear up. And one of them is people assume that once you hit 72, you no longer have to file taxes. That is not true. It is income based, not age based. I just had a friend about a week ago. We were talking about, what I was doing and everything, and I was telling him I was really busy helping people do taxes. And he was kind of bragging, "Oh, I don't have to do taxes. I'm disabled, and all my benefits are disability. I don't. I'm exempt. I'm exempt. I'm exempt." And I said, okay." But I said, "Aren't you in your 70s?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I do believe that once you hit 65, disability transfers over to Social Security retirement. If it's over 26,000, all your benefits that you're gathering, your annuities and whatever, if they equal more to 26,000, you are supposed to file taxes and they will request it from you." So he was very silent. And this is a man that used to work for the courts, educated, degrees and everything. And he was stunned. And he goes, "I'm 75 and I haven't done taxes in 10 years." And I said, "Well, I think you may want to look into it and see what your account is on Social Security. And you can go online and make an account and see what your annual statement says, because I do believe you have to file, and you probably will owe if you are bringing in 80,000 a year." So that is one big misconception that a lot of people have that I want to make real clear. It doesn't matter the age, it's the income level of what you're bringing in. You can be 99 years old. If you're bringing in 30, 40,000 a year from all your annuities, your retirement, you do have to file taxes. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to make clear with everyone. Okay? Also, too, there's different levels, of course, with Social Security. Well, different times that you can retire. And that's another misconception also too, especially for people that are self-employed. Some people don't realize that. I've had people throughout the years, many times self-employed, especially artists or construction workers or whatever. They have a lawn care business or whatever. And they say, "Oh, I'm not paying taxes. I'm not paying taxes. I don't have to, because I'm self-employed." I said, "Well, that's great. But just remember, when you want to retire at 62 or 65 or whatever, and you want that little Social Security check, you're not going to get anything. It's going to be very small or nothing because you are not paying into the system." So that is another misconception that a lot of people have when they're self-employed. You are paying into Social Security, so you can receive that check at 62, 65, whenever you decide to get it. But that is really critical. And I try to explain to a lot of times to people that are self-employed, especially those that work outside, you're chances of getting injured are much higher from the work that you do, climbing trees or construction or driving, than a person at a regular job. So the chances of you needing that Social Security check or disability check or whatever is higher. So that is another thing to consider when you are self-employed. Uh, One of the things that I want people to understand also too, um, when you get your check at if you decide to get your check at 62 or at any time, you can keep working at certain limits, and that check goes up because you're also putting into the pot of your Social Security account. You're contributing. So that check goes up. It does not stay the same amount. It doesn't stay static. It keeps contributing, it keeps growing. That's another thing that a lot of people don't understand, that I've had that many, many times, that they think that if they get the check at 62, it stays at whatever amount. No, that's not correct. So those are a few things that I wanted to point out first. Um, is
Mary Jane, I have a question.
Yes.
Going back to um, the Social Security and the amount. So, is there any income that, like when you retire and they, and you get on Social Security and they give you that $2,500 or whatever it is per month, and then you have your 401k. Does the 401k count as income?
The annuity, the retirement check that you receive from your retirement check, that does count as income. If you receive a distribution from your 401k and they're mandatory after 62, yes, they are considered income. All of those sources, your annuities, your distribution, your Social Security, if they equal more than 26,000 a year, yes, you do need to file taxes. You need to pay. Yes.
All
If
right.
they're under 26,000, don't worry about it. Then there's nothing. And here's another thing that a lot of people mistakenly too. They feel that they have to have withholding held from their Social Security check. But they're not even getting like 20,000 a year from Social Security. You don't need to file. There's no need to have that withholding. And in order to get that withholding money, you go file so that you can get that money back. But there's no reason to have it.
So my
That's another
question,
thing.
yeah, my
Roz has a
question is,
question.
yes, when you hit 70, um, isn't there a cap on your Social Security?
Not that I know of, because
So
you can keep working and you contribute to the pot. See what I'm saying?
so this is the first year that I have taken my Social Security while I'm working. So
Uh-huh.
it's going to continue to go up as I continue to work?
Correct. See,
Okay,
a lot of people don't understand it, don't realize it. You're still, because if you have a regular part-time job with a W-2, they're taking out taxes. That is
right.
going into your pot. And then I did the same thing. By the way, I do want to show something real quick while we're talking about this. A little chart that I came up with that was shown to me when I was at IRS by the retirement planner. And when he showed it to us, I said, oh my God, we're all like, what? Yeah. If you retire at 62 and you get $1,000, they're hoping you don't live very long to begin with, because they don't want the money going out. At 62, if you make it to 82, that's what they're gambling on. And you get $1,000 for 20 years, it comes out to 240,000.
Okay.
If you do it at 66, you get a higher check. Yeah, this is true. 16 years, it comes out to 240,000. If you do it at 72, yeah, you get that big $2,000 check. You're doing it for 10 years. It also comes out to 240,000 when you reach 82. All these amounts are the same. This may be a smaller check, but you made it to 82. You're getting the
Wow.
same amount, and they're not telling you that.
That's very interesting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you can, I do. I did, but if you're able to, then you can afford to retire at 62, work part-time, you're much better off
I
because you
retired at
are,
62.
yeah, and you will get the same amount as you waited till 72 because they're banking that 82 if you make it that far, if you make it that far. It's very interesting. I personally don't believe that the Social Security will go away or it will run out. That pot is huge. It is huge. And it's always contributed to daily, daily. People don't understand that as your taxes are taken out from your paycheck, most employers, most large businesses deposit that money. Most of them are supposed to do it every month, at least every quarter. That money is sitting at the Treasury collecting interest compounded daily at 8%, while it could be sitting in your account collecting interest and you pay your taxes. So that Social Security account is not, I don't see it going anywhere. I doubt it. It may go lower some, but I don't foresee it going away. I had one person tell me last week that they didn't want to file taxes because they feel that in a few years, Social Security is going to go away. We're going to go into a different exchange system. What'll be energy? And I said, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, um,
But Mary Jane, why is there so much written and people are scared because they're told that it's going to go away? I mean, why is that happening?
it's a scare tactic. To me, it's a scare tactic. Here's one thing that I learned from this particular uh, IRS facility here in Austin. There used to be 26 nationwide. Now we're down to three. The reason we still have the one here, which is at Ben White and I-35, that huge complex of buildings there, is because Bush kept them from being shut down 20 something years ago when he was president, or 30 years ago, whatever. So they're still around. So it is one of only two, three facilities nationwide that processes mail, where mail comes in. We have huge volumes of mail. So there also, we also do the I-10, which is for immigrants that don't have Social Security numbers for them to pay taxes to be able to qualify for a green card. It used to be 10 years, and that has changed dramatically in the last year or two. So one reason they make it so confusing and a lot of about the Social Security going away is I think it's a scare tactic. But here's the thing: the immigrants that were paying that we were processing approximately 11 million returns a year. Immigrants that do not have Social Security numbers. They're banking that those immigrants will not ever get their money, which is very unfortunate. It's very sad. They're banking that they will never file for benefits or they'll never get a Social Security card or they'll go back or whatever. But their money is sitting there collecting interest for many years, many, many, many years. So it's something to think about. I don't see it going away. I really don't. I really don't. They don't want to talk about it. It's not part of the Federal Reserve. It's not part of the Treasury. It is a separate branch all to itself of pot of money. It's not part of the Treasury. It is separate.
I wish it could be clearer. I wish they would be honest with us with where we are on all that. And what I heard from other people who had worked I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember who it was, but worked someplace in the system. He said the same thing. And he said it is a huge amount of money and they keep trying to use it for other things. They keep go.
Correct.
How can they go in and take money out of it?
They cannot. It's our savings account, literally our savings account. They cannot. It's set aside for us. There's no way they can touch it. It may go down. Yes, I kind of see that. Maybe yes, through the years because of population changes, all of this immigrant thing that's going on right now, that can cause the amount of it that's in there to go down. I understand that part. But to go away completely, no, and they're not allowed to touch it either.
And what about
But
the idea that they're saying they're going to change the name of the check to be something like not a benefit? They're changing the name, I've heard, from Social Security to something else that makes it seem like it's not a Social Security, like it's not ours, like it's their, gift to us kind of thing. Have you heard anything about that?
no, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I really haven't. No, 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 I haven't. But I do want to ask if there's, I know the lady that was talking earlier, she said she had a few questions from California
Erica.
Oh, I don't
or
know if I have
anybody.
anything in particular. I'll just share, my own situation and just say that this year I've just started working on a couple of literary projects. And
Uh-huh.
so and I'm not, I'm used to like working 80 hours a week basically with some company, but this year I've decided not to, and I'm going to try to do some literary projects that I'm working on. Um, and I'm just kind of learning about what self-employment taxes are, on the internet. And the
Okay.
way I'm going about it is by like anything that it might be well, one, I don't know what is an expense exactly, but anything that I think might be an expense, I'm just like logging it in a spreadsheet and saving on my receipts. But I don't know anything about self-employment. So this is why I'm here.
Okay. That's very good. Let me touch on the self-employment, please, because there's a lot of misconceptions. Like I touched on earlier, you are paying into your Social Security. You understand that, okay? When you file your taxes, if you make 10,000, you're going to pay $1,500 or so on taxes, but some of that is your contribution to, well, all of it is your Medicare and your Social Security check, and your withholding, your income tax also. That's what's really important. If you're concerned about having if you want to deduct expenses in, it's up to you. You can. You absolutely you can. And just remember, if you made 50,000 and you want to say that you had 30,000 in expenses, which is very understandable, and you're only making 20 on your bottom line, which is called the bottom line, your net. I mean, your not your gross, but your net. You're paying taxes only on the 20,000. But just remember, that is your contribution to your Social Security. Okay? So it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. Do I pay now? If I pay a little bit, will I get a check at all? That kind of thing. Also, too, you need so many credits to get Social Security, which is 40 credits. And each credit you get for a year. You have to make at least 6,000, 7,000, 6,500 a year in order to qualify for those credits.
What was the number again? $6,500 a year?
Yes, in order to get 4 credits to qualify for Social Security. And that's a really small check for Social Security,
Oh.
okay? But if you only make 3,000, you'll get 2 credits as long as you add it as long as it adds up to 40 over your lifetime. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 40 credits
Also,
over your lifetime, over
correct,
work, like your entire work life.
correct. Also,
Okay.
too, just remember,
It's fascinating.
um, I wouldn't stress too much. If you have receipts, that's fine. If you don't, well, unless you're in the millions, us small self-employed artists, writers, construction workers, we're not worth their time. Unless you have a huge glaring issue that will come up, I've had only a tiny handful of audits. Those were because the person didn't give me the social security number of the kid correct. So their earning credit was all messed up. And then they got audited. Okay, and that's a whole other story. I did have someone 2 years ago. They came to me, a tax preparer, did her taxes, and the husband didn't want to pay, and so of course the preparer is going to do with them whatever they say. Okay, so she gave him a loss, but during that loss, they were trying to claim one of her kids, and there was an issue with the kid because the ex-husband or the claimed the kid, so it triggered an audit. He got audited.
I have been
She didn't.
audited before. I got
It's
audited when I was a student, or I just graduated from college. And what happened was I graduated with this program that would forgive my loans if I graduate with a certain GPA or whatever. So then the next time I did my taxes, I didn't claim that because it was like considered a gift or something like that. I ended up
Uh-huh.
having to like pay, it wasn't that much before a college student. I was like, oh my God. I ended up having to pay like, I think it was a $1,200, at that like $1,000 afterward to taxes. And I think it was because like I just didn't claim it, but the university like obviously told the IRS they gave me this money or something. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, there's all kinds of variables. There's all kinds of variables. But if you say that you made some money and you're okay, and you don't have other outstanding problems or whatever, your chances of being audited are very, very, very slim. There is random audits, which is totally up to the computer. It's just totally random, and they pick a percent of 160 million tax filers. There's 160 million in the U.S. all over. They pick as like 1% or whatever, and it's totally random. So yeah. So don't worry too much about receipts. If you have them, that's great. If not, you know, just be aware of what you wrote and and what you're claiming and not claiming. Any other question?
Well, and the other really important thing is that her data is accurate. Her social security number, her address, whatever, that wouldn't, therefore, it doesn't trigger an
Trigger.
audit because it's wrong.
Correct. And that's
Hmm.
what happened with a couple that came to me, that the tax preparer, they didn't realize the kid was being claimed by somebody else. So it triggered a whole lot of, yeah.
How do you know
Yeah.
if you have 40 credits? Like if I'm thinking about my dad and he's getting to retirement age and I basically help him do a lot of his paperwork. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. How do I know if, he's had 40 credits?
SSA.gov.
SSA.gov. Okay.
Absolutely. They will tell you in a heartbeat. They will tell you your whole history, his
So,
entire life, of all the wages, all the credit, everything. They will go all the way back. They will.
so
Absolutely.
everybody should get a SSA.gov account and keep up with their stuff. Do you suggest that, Mary Jane?
Yeah, especially if you're getting close to retirement age, yes. One. Two, if you think you have been a victim of fraud, people, oh my God, socials being used, that has happened before. I've seen that happen also. Someone else is using the social, they went to work, and all of a sudden they're getting a letter from IRS. Oh, you filed your tax return incorrectly. We saw that you made $30,000 at another job. Therefore, you owe. That has happened also. Absolutely, yeah. If you think you're any kind of fraud where you think someone may have used your social, yes.
And the other thing is that basically from Social Security, what I think I heard you say is that each individual has $240,000 allocated in some way from
Uh,
62 to
no,
82.
it was an example.
An
If you were
example.
state,
Okay. All right.
yeah, just to show, it could be a
Okay.
thousand a month, it could be 800, it could be 2,000 a month when you start at 62. But I was just showing that
Okay.
when you retire at 62 as opposed to 72, the amounts
It's
are
the
the
same.
same.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you. Mhm.
yeah. So there's a lot of benefit if you're able to retire at 62. Get your check. You can still work. Yes, there is a limit from 62 to 66. There is a limit of how much you can earn uh, on with a W-2 before Social Security starts taking the money back. And that is up, I think it's up now to 18,000 a year
Mhm.
that you can earn from a job and still get your check. And they don't take the money away. What they'll do is they'll like towards the end of the year they won't send you a payment or reduce the amount to offset anything over 18,000. Of course, once you hit 66, it doesn't matter. You can work full time at another job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Okay.
at all. You can work. You can make any amount.
Okay. So I can go back to work, huh?
Say that again. Say that
Don't tell
again.
the husband.
So you can work full time after 66 and collect your Social Security and what?
You will pay a lot more taxes, but your check goes up. Your check is going up.
Okay.
Absolutely dramatically. Yeah. I have a customer like, well, I have someone that I help. Yes, they are he's working full time. He's getting his Social Security check and he's just paying a lot more taxes. But his check is going up. He was also misunderstood. Him and his wife were very confused also too because they had so much withholding. They had several $1,000s of, they got a refund of over $5,000 because they had so much withholding from the Social Security check, from the
Hmm.
job, from the annuity. All of them had withholding for paying. And as I explained to her, you really don't need to do that unless you want to, but what you're doing is the government is making interest on your on that money because it's sitting in their account and not in your savings account. So
Ah,
contact one of them and tell them no more withholding. Stop.
okay.
Okay. And put that money into your savings account. That's all they're doing.
Okay.
They're making interest 8% compounded daily through Chase Bank. Yes. To get interest. Yes. And that's how they make more money. Instead of you making that money, which I highly recommend, yes, your refund will be lower, but your check during the month through the years is higher because you don't have that withholding. Does
But
that make
you know,
sense?
some people get excited when you get that, you know, that $3,000 check from the IRS, you know, every April.
I understand. I see it. I understand. I understand totally. But it's their money. It's not government money. No, it's your own money.
Hmm. We have a
And
question on the chat
yes.
about can you talk about paying taxes on a trust and
Oh,
how to step up can, you know, for the benefit for the beneficiary.
yeah. At the 1041, it's a 1041 where you do the trust, the estate, and you're paying taxes on it. Only if the trust is earning interest. That is considered income. Okay? That's what the trust is going to pay taxes on, is the income earned from the $1 million that's sitting there, whatever. And that $1 million earns interest. And the bank will send you a 1099. You made this interest income or whatever, this, and then that's what you pay taxes on for on a trust.
but you get a form, so you don't have to worry about trying to calculate or do anything. The bank sends you a form about that, and that's what you put into the little line on your tax return.
Yes, if you have a trust, yeah, the bank, wherever you have your trust with, you know, uh, they are supposed to be sending you a 1099 interest, 1099I interest income, and that's what you use to file your taxes on a 1041 for the trust.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's really good because you don't have to worry about it. You're going to get it. Just insert it into the form. Okay.
Correct. As you're doing your taxes, correct. Yes, they should. They should every year. All of those 1099s, 1098s, all of those are supposed to be released by January 31st. We used to process the originals here in Austin. We're one of the facilities. We used to get between 20 and 30 million every year. And we had to Zoom and not Zoom, but look them over, all of them. It would take us about 6 months. They're all looked at before they're scanned, and then they are uploaded, and then they are matched up with the social security number of the recipient to make sure that they are filing income tax on that income earned. That's how they know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing what they know from your social security number. You
Mhm.
can't get a bank account, you can't get a credit card, Zoom, I mean, Cash App, any of those. They are all requesting a social security number so that the IRS can collect taxes on it. And it has its own tax ID. It can be filed. I didn't see the rest of the question. Let me.
Yep.
Let
So
me go to
what if the
chat.
trust has its own tax ID? Can it be filed as a separate entity?
Correct. It is. It's a 1041. Correct. It has a EIN. That's correct.
So those are separate from your regular personal taxes.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
And then does the money get paid back to the trust?
No. If you have $1,000 in a trust fund and it's earning 4% interest, and you get what, $40 at the end of the year. Well, this is an example, okay? You get $40 at the end of the year. The bank sends you a 1099 interest with that you made $40, okay? But it is in a trust, not personal checking account, a trust fund, correct? So that trust fund, you do have to file taxes on it separately, which is a 1041, a separate tax form, because it's not an individual account like my own savings account in my bank. No, it is in a trust fund, which is different.
So therefore, you will have two tax returns that you file, your personal and your trust fund.
Correct. If you have to do, yeah, if you have a personal one, yeah, yes. And the trust, yes. Step up. Oh, I don't know what step up is. Ew. Hmm. Step up, I don't know what that is.
Well, the way I understand to step up, and maybe that person can do it as well, you at your bank, you get what do you get, certificate of deposit, and you bought it at a certain interest rate, and if the interest goes up or goes down some direction, you're going to make more money because you're given a certain, oh, I don't know. Gosh, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe the person who asked the
Right.
question can do that.
Yeah, I see where the interest rate changes. So yeah,
Yeah.
it will affect that 1099. Yeah. Yes. See, and that's a good point. See, so you're talking about the CD, certificate of deposit. Correct. I have some of those. I collected interest and I paid I got it with 1099 from the bank and I paid. That is individual. That is not a trust fund, okay?
But
Correct. Yeah.
again, the thing that's most important to understand in all of this is that some institution that is holding your money provides you the interest that you made on that money. So they're going to say you earned $40, $50, 60, whatever it is, and you have that information and you put it into your personal income tax return. But somebody
If
provides
it's a
it to you. Yeah,
if it's a private, like a private savings account, but if it's
right.
in a trust, it is separate. Yes,
That's
correct.
separate. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so I
A
have
good question.
certificates of deposit, so that's where it comes in.
Correct. Correct. And I highly recommend to do that. Instead of having that big withholding check from withholding from your annuity, from your social security, your job or whatever, get your CD instead and save that money. The reason this was started to begin with, as my boss explained to me 20 years ago when I first started working at IRS, the way it's explained it is withholding. Because when all this started, what, 60, 70, 80 years ago, tax returns, people could not save money to pay their taxes. So the government decided to do that for them, and they did it with withholding money from their check every week. And if you didn't owe, you would get what was left over back. So instead of you doing that withhold, letting the government do the withholding, I tell a lot of people, if you're not owing or anything like that, don't have that taken out of your paycheck. Claim exempt or whatever you need to claim, so that that withholding is zero, and you put that money into your savings account. Your check is bigger during the year, and your income tax return is smaller at the end of the year, but you're getting a bigger check throughout the month, which a lot of people do need nowadays, especially now. They need that bigger check. They can't wait till next year or next month or whatever. So that's my take on it. But
Mhm.
yeah. And a good way to do it to get a good rate is with a CD.
But it would
If
be
you
a
do
CD for a year,
correct,
right?
yes, correct. And if you need to cash it in to pay your taxes, well, okay, you cash it in, but at least you made some interest. It's still there. You needed it for something else or whatever, or you don't need it, well, it stays there.
Mhm.
So basically, you don't pay taxes. You don't pay withholding. You put your what, but you make sure you have enough money
In
should
case you
you
have to pay.
in case you have to
Yes.
pay. But
Yeah.
so you put your money into a CD or whatever higher rate return, and then at the
Correct.
end of the year, if you owe anything, you pay it
Then
from
you can
that.
withdraw it.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
correct.
I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of
I
that,
know
Mary
that sounds
Jane.
a little strange, but I had a cousin that did banking for 30 years, and she was the one that started telling me about this many, many years ago. And when I started working for IRS, I said, "Oh, she is right. She's correct. She's correct." Yeah. If you're able to do it, yeah, because they're already taken out for your Social Security and your Medicare, which is a lot and your health insurance or whatever. It can add up a lot, to for people. So one little less thing that they take out and it helps you throughout the year, that's great,
But the
you
only
know.
thing you need to be careful of is make sure that you can have access to that money should you need it to pay.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. And the bank that I'm with, they made that real clear. Oh, you can always cash in the CD if you ever need it. They do take out I think they took out I did cash in one. I think they took like a $15 processing fee, and that was it. Something like that. It wasn't very much that they took.
Mary Jane, how do you know if you have all your papers? Because, before, um, the bank would send me my interest payments and the mortgage would send me my little paper and, all these people would send me the papers. Nowadays, they send you an email if you find it and if it doesn't go to spam and it says, "Oh, you can find your paper on our app, on our website." And so how do I know if I'm not missing something? Because now
That's
I
a
don't
good
get
one.
papers. Now I get emails and I don't
And
know where my papers are.
And you have to remember, oh, do I need that? Do I need this?
Yes, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And they're doing that a lot too with, I think they're doing that now with Social Security, the 1099, the SSA or whatever. Oh, you go online to your account and it's there and you can download it, blah, blah, blah. I think they're going to start doing that next year. And a lot of people that I work with taxes, a lot of them, they're getting their W-2 in an email. They're not getting it in the paper either. Yeah. You do have to, well, here's the thing. When you start doing your taxes, you will be prompted. You will see, oh, wait a minute, where's this and where's that? You just got to remember to make sure that you're getting everything so that you do file correctly, because they will figure out that if you didn't file correctly, they will come back. It may take them a year or two to get to your tax return, but IRS does go through every single tax return of everyone that is filed in the US every year. It may take them a year or two to get through yours, but if they find an error, they will eventually let you know. Hey, and that's how they do it. The database is so huge now that they can cross-reference really well now. Before it used to take a long time. Now they can cross-reference. That's why your social is on everything. So if they found out that you worked self-employed and you got as a contractor and you got a 1099 and you didn't file taxes on it, they will figure that out sooner or later because of your social security numbers on there. Yeah, they will see it eventually. Of course, if you're getting a refund, they don't care. They're not going to let you know. They don't care if you're not filing taxes, and they know that also. They can tell. Oh, no, no, we ain't gonna bother to let them know they need to file taxes to get a refund. They will not let you, they will not send you a reminder letter. No, they will not. So if you miss something, it's up to you. They don't care.
Pero I can file again, right?
You can absolutely do an amended return, and I highly recommend that. If you think you missed something and there was a lot of withholding on it, and then you need to include it, do it. Do an amended return and you do have 3 years to do an amended return. That is it. After 3 years, they will not give you the refund. It doesn't matter the amount. You have a 3-year limit of when you could file an amended return to get a refund, and you will get interest on it for while it's sat in their coffers. But if you owe, they will let you know, and that's 10 years. They will keep track of you for 10 years. After 10 years, if you owe, they drop it because they say it's not, it's not feasible, it's not worth it, it's whatever, tracking you down. Yeah. That's another interesting aspect of it also.
What about if I owe? If I owe and then I owe the year after and stuff, can I talk to them about reducing my payments?
Yes, you can. That's another thing. You know how you see in the commercial on TV, the guys that, those commercials where they will help you. Oh, if you owe our $10,000, we can help you out and reduce it to 1,000, whatever, and payment, whatever. That is very true. And you can't do it on your own. You don't have to go through anybody, but people don't know that either.
So who
You
do you
can
write
reach
to?
out. Huh?
Who do
I'm
you
sorry,
write
what?
to? Who do you write to
You
reduce to consolidate your owing?
There is two ways to do it, and they're both online on irs.gov, and there's forms on there. One is offer and compromise, where you say, okay, I owe 10,000. Will you take 1,000 cash right now up front? And you fill out the form. The other one is abatement of interest and penalties, where you asking them, can you take off the interest that I owe on this particular year? In general, they will do the abatement of interest and penalties. They'll do it the first time in general, especially if you say, I am now on Social Security. I cannot afford this debt anymore. This is how much I get. I I am indigent. Can you please take off the interest? And most of the time they'll do it the first time. But people don't know that they can do that on their own. Yes. Yes, you absolutely can.
We're almost at the end of our time. Are there any other tips? Let me see. I think there's a question. Is there another question? If an error was done by your tax preparer and the IRS requests a difference due, how responsible is that tax preparer to you? Responsible in terms of clarifying why there is a new amount due since they were the ones who prepared the tax filing.
Yeah, this is like what I was talking about, the couple that came to me, that the tax preparer, they are licensed by IRS. They have to go to a training and everything to be certified to do tax for this very reason. For this very reason. That's why when you go to them, they want proof of everything, every single receipt, whatever, statement, whatever, 1099, W-2, so they can cover themselves, so they're not liable. Okay. If there is a problem, and I've had this happen to another tax preparer, another people that I was helping out, the tax preparers, they disappeared. So the customers was left with the difference they had to pay because they couldn't prove, they couldn't contact the preparer anymore. They were liable. Okay. And that is a sad part. Now, when you do the abatement of penalties and interest, that form, there is a spot on there where you can check out, this was due to tax preparer error, or someone from IRS gave me the wrong information. Please take this off. Yeah. But most of the time they're not wrong. It's very rare that they are wrong, that I've seen, but it does happen. Yeah, it doesn't happen. Yeah. Especially when I had another one where they came to me, hey, he wrote down that I made 25,000, but here's the 1099 that I gave him and everything, and it shows 20,000. I don't know why he put 25,000. But the tax preparer was gone. Couldn't find him. So I helped them figure out how to fix that. But in the end, you know, the abatement and everything proved, hey, this was, not my fault. Here's proof. It finally got resolved after about a year or two, but it takes a moment. Yes, it does.
When you file your taxes with a tax preparer, their name and their number is also on that tax form.
Correct. And sometimes they disappear.
Mm.
Change their numbers or don't answer the phone or close their office or whatever. Yeah. That it's happened a few times that I've noticed. So then you're stuck proving, well, they helped me. Well, ours is going to say, well, who are they?
Can we talk about claiming your parents? If your parents get Social Security, can I still claim them or do they have to
Yes.
claim themselves?
Yes, especially if they're making less than 26,000 a year. Absolutely, you can
So if
claim
they're
them.
only making the Social Security, I can claim them.
Correct. If their Social Security check or their yeah. If their Social Security check is less than 26,000, absolutely, you can claim them. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do they
And I
have to
can claim
live with you?
services for them.
Do they have to live
I'm
with
sorry,
you?
what?
Does your
Do they have to
parents?
live with you?
Well, they should, but if they don't, it's yeah, but you can still, because if you provide services for them, help them with income, whatever, yeah. I've never had an issue with that. No, never have. No, never have. Yeah, because they make less than 26,000. Yeah, it didn't matter.
So they are
Yeah.
not having to file, but you can still claim
Correct.
it. Okay.
Correct. Same thing with a child. See, if
Okay.
you're lucky enough that you have a wonderful, talented child that is an actor or musician or whatever, they're 15 years old and they made a lot of money, you can still claim them as your dependent, but they still have to file taxes, but they're not claiming themselves, but they're paying taxes on what they made. It's a little confusing, but yeah, same thing.
But it's under your tax return.
Correct. Yes. You can claim them as your dependent. Yes. They still file one separately, but they're not claiming themselves, saying, oh, someone else is claiming me, but I made this $100,000 and they had to pay taxes on it. They just won't get the credits. They don't get the earned income credit or any of that other stuff. No.
But they do file a separate return under their own social security number,
If you
claiming
have a child.
income.
Correct. Yeah, if you have a child, yeah, a dependent, yes.
Okay.
If they go to school, you can claim them, yes. If they're in school, up to 18, it doesn't matter. After 18, if they're in school up to 24, you can claim them. They can make whatever amount. It doesn't matter. And they make their own little tax return. They'll get back the little withholding. They just don't get the earned income credit. They can't get the school credits. They can't get anything because the parent is doing it. But they can file their own little tax return and get their withholding back. Okay? That's another myth. You can claim anyone in the US as long as they don't claim themselves. People don't understand that here. You can claim your name or what, it doesn't matter. You can claim them, but as long as they don't claim themselves or have an income more than 4,600 a year. I think it's 46 or 4,500. Yeah. You can claim anybody. No, you can't claim the dog. I'm sorry. People always ask me that. No, no. You can claim anyone as long as they don't claim themselves.
Hmm.
Well, this has been really helpful for me.
Fascinating.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind sharing. Yeah. If you have any other questions, you can send an email to the Comadres and they can let you know to reach out to me if you want to talk some more personally or need assistance or whatever. Yeah, I don't mind. Absolutely. Everybody has different scenarios and I don't mind explaining stuff, but that was a big one. I'm glad you asked that last question. Yeah, people didn't know or realize that they can claim anyone as long as they don't claim themselves.
Amazing. Well, any
Is there
Yeah.
a
number of
limit?
times.
How
No,
many people can I claim? Can I claim the whole neighborhood?
you can if it's worth it on your tax return. If you made 1 million, honey, yes, you don't get a
Mm,
lot for each person, but yes, you can claim them. Yeah.
wow. Well, lots of times, comadres here in Austin have asked me questions, and in San Antonio as well. And I refer them to Mary Jane, and she takes care of them. They are all happy campers. That's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, I don't mind answering questions or helping people figure out stuff because I was just blessed that I was able to work as long as I did at IRS, and my job entailed learning, or I won't say learning. I had to learn a lot, yes, but I had to do a lot of research on the tax return because it was problem money. It became a lot of times we would get a check by itself in the envelope. Juan Gonzalez from Houston. You know how many Juan Gonzalez's are in Houston? We had to research. Or the tax return came and there was something off with it. We had to research, well, is this really this or what? So I had to learn a lot about tax returns in general, period. And that's how I got to know about, LLCs, nonprofits, rental, self-employed, Schedule K, all of that stuff. Yeah. Stocks, crypto. Yeah.
Well,
overseas.
Is it in everyone's benefit to claim an office, now that we all work from home?
You know, that six of one, half a dozen other, because then if you start claiming the office and your equipment and all that, you start getting into depreciation. That's one thing. Yeah, you could, but if I were, I would rather put down, instead of the office, uh, supplies. That's okay. Yeah. Just,
Mhm.
yeah. You got a lot of supplies? Well, okay. Yeah. Instead of the office, the computer, the fax machine or whatever, the phone, there's a lot of stuff on there. To me, keep it as simple as possible for yourself, because if you start getting into office expenses, then you means you're getting into depreciation. You have to list the address, the value of the home, insurance, electricity, all, it's a lot more headache. It's up to you. You want to do that. If you can handle that. I have helped people that make 300, 400,000. He was just happy with just having the basic expensive mileage, supplies, clothes, tools. Yeah. And it came out just fine for him.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments?
this was great, Mary Jane. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
thank you, Nora. I really enjoyed it, and I helped answer questions, and of course, anybody has any other question, please don't hesitate to reach out. I don't mind.
Well,
Mwah.
thank you, comadres. And again, remember that this was for informational purposes. And if you need professional help, there's the IRS, there's the accountants, and agencies like H&R Block. And of course, Mary Jane to be the backup. All right. Have a good night.
Gracias. Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you, Mary Jane. Bye.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.